Hello, my name is Robin Williams, and I am the mayoral candidate for Houston, Texas, 2023. Our election date is November 7th, 2023. And today I want to discuss a subject that was very near and dear to members of my team. So, if you're familiar with the young lady, she was arrested because she was parked at a McDonald's around 1 a.m. in the morning. And inside of the vehicle was a puppy and a child under the age of 8, I believe. And so the police gets there. They says temperatures inside of the car had reached approximately 100 plus degrees inside the vehicle. The child was hyperventilating, and so was the dog. So the young lady is arrested for child endangerment charges and for also for the animal as well. I just want to piggyback off of this. In law enforcement, we call it quarterbacking. So, what would I have done if I was in that officer's shoes? One, the call came in as a welfare check. A welfare check is when someone calls and says, "Hey, I see something suspicious. I hear a weird noise. I see a strange vehicle. I don't know what's going on." That is basically they want law enforcement to come out and check whatever out they're calling about. Whether it's, "Hey, I see this, my neighbor's home has the back porch light on, is never on. I've known my neighbor for the last 10 years. I think something may be wrong." Or, "Hey, I see a suspicious car. It's been in a parking lot. And it's strange. I usually don't see any vehicles inside of the parking lot after a certain time." So, as a law enforcement officer, what we do, we go out, we investigate what's in the call notes and the welfare check. So, in this particular case, it will be the young lady. We will be out on the vehicle. First things first, you let dispatch know, "Hey, I'm out on the vehicle." You read the license plate off. Charlie Bravo John 12345. You repeat it. Okay, your partner usually is a second officer that accompanies that comes with you. Excuse me, accompany you. Tongue twister that comes with you, and they're usually on the passenger side, you're on the driver's side. In this particular case, the person would be asleep. So you just want to stand behind a B pillar. What's the B pillar? The B pillar is that little strip right before you open the door, that little metal frame. It provides law enforcement with protection. You knock on the window because you know you're going to startle this person. So, you knock on the window. "Hey, I'm Officer Williams with the Mighty Duck Police Department." So once you do that, you gather their name. If they have a driver's license ID, you run that over the air. When I say run it over the air, the walkie-talkie radio is called a radio, and you key up to dispatch and you let them know what's going on. And you wait for them to have a return because this person could be a missing person, this person could be a wanted person, or anything else we don't know. This person could have a warrant for his or her arrest. So in this particular situation, it was a young lady. Um, I'm hoping they gathered the information. That's how they know that her name. And I believe it was precinct 4. My whole thing is I would get her information. "Hey, what's going on? It's a little hot, you guys. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. What's going on?" This would be a very surreal scenario for me because I used to work nights. I used to work from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. So this is very plausible for me. "Hey, what's going on? I got a welfare check. I'm just checking on you. It's hot out here. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. What's going on?" Young lady, "Hey, I'm homeless. I was charging my vehicle. I was charging my phone up. I lost track of time and fell asleep. Well, it's extremely hot in this vehicle. Go ahead. And roll the windows all the way down. Is there any way you can turn it on so that your daughter and the dog can get some air?" "Okay, sure. So you're homeless. How long have you been homeless?" I've been homeless for X amount of time. The first thing I would want to do once I know this person comes back clear. When we say clear, that means this person doesn't have any warrants, isn't wanted out of any county, any out of state, any TCIC, NCIC warrants, anything like that. So now I'm calling my crime victims advocate. So I don't know if each police department has it, but they should. You have a crime victims advocate. What they usually work 24 hours. You can call or text them and say, "Hey, have a young lady that's homeless with a child and a pet. What can we do? How old is she? Is she?" Then we dig a little bit further. Is she a victim of domestic violence? Um, did she age out of the system? Most people, most young ladies, or most individual teens, sometimes, from my experience, they may have had some type of contact with CPS or been a ward of the state or any or something like that. So we want to gather all of that information because that's imperative to us helping. So the crime victims advocate says, "Give me a second, let me call around for shelters to see if one's open, to see if we can possibly get a voucher for a hotel. And I'll call you back. Okay, thank you. I'm going to also call shelters that I have saved in my phone, on my resource sheet. You might have a sheet in your folder that you keep or whatever, because you usually officers have some type of backpack or duffel bag where they keep all their paperwork, extra tools that's needed, and you make those phone calls. Hey, I'm calling. I have a young lady. She's in a vehicle. It's hot. The temperature is extremely hot. I know it's been a heat advisory all week long. She has a daughter. She stated that she was a victim of domestic violence in the past. She doesn't have family in the area. Do you have a room? No, we don't have a room, but we know maybe Star of Hope has one. Get in contact with Star of Hope. Yes, we do have a room, but we don't have anyone to transport. Well, I'm willing to transport. Okay, if you're willing to transport, you can bring the daughter in. You can bring the daughter and the mom in. Well, she also has a pet. Well, they may say yay or nay to a pet. If they say no to a pet, I can say, hey, we have a kennel in the back of the PD. PD stands for police department, and I can put your dog there. You can come and pick the dog back up at a later time, or they may hold the dog at the animal shelter. So once I get those resources for her, I get it documented. So anytime we run into this individual again, I know the address, I know her next of kin, I know her story, I have notes for the next officer, and now this person is now in a shelter where they can hopefully give her additional resources for housing, EBT, which are government assistance for food stamps, or help her get on the right path, saying that she have medical care for her and her daughter as well. And that's my goal when I come into a situation like that versus arresting. Because based off the storyline, the windows were cracked. She was charging her phone in her car. She's homeless. Um, there's not much wiggle room for providing the necessities for your children, um, especially during a heat wave when you're homeless. So I think that's a really big alternative for me when it comes to policing and policing certain individuals, because it's imperative that we don't over police the community, because our goal is to also provide resources. I don't want to arrest a homeless personnel. Say we have a homeless personnel, there's they're sleeping in the park, and well, I'm going to arrest you for criminal trespassing, charge you with a class B misdemeanor because you're being a nuisance while I'm on my shift. How about I call around and provide resources? What's going on? What's your next of kin? Are you okay? Do you suffer from any mental health issues? That's my biggest concern. That's my piggyback off of that case. I did have the opportunity of being in contact with this young lady, and I just hope everything goes according to plan. I can't help but shout out Tammy Morris on my team. She saw the story immediately, reached out to the campaign. She spoke with me and said, "Hey, I believe I have to do something. This story resonates with me." So she was able to use her personal resources to get the young lady's car out of the tow yard. And then we provided her with some additional resources, setting up several donating sites for her. We provided her with food for the day, and for her and her daughter. So, and the puppy, we can't forget about the puppy. I'm a dog mom myself. My dog name is Mayor, and she's 7 months. She's going on 8 months in the month of August. And I think my campaign, Mayor grew up with us. She's this one. When I introduced Mayor to the campaign, she was this little 5-week puppy. I believe she was 5 weeks. She was so small. So I just want to give a huge thank you to Tammy and to other law enforcement. I know we're always taught, don't quarterback off of calls you don't know much about, or don't quarterback because we never know what we would have done. But in this scenario, I know I would have reached out to the crime victims advocate before making an arrest like that, because it takes the child away from the mother away from the child. The car is now the only thing that she has for her name. Is now taken away from her. So what good does it do to actually make the arrest if the intentions was not to harm? You can also have her connected where she can take child parenting classes and just learn the basic necessities, because when you're in survival mode, I think a lot of things go out of the window that normal people would do. And I have to hate to say normal people. I would, I guess, correct myself and say housed individuals would do. Individuals with housing. You would come into your home, possibly turn your AC on, and take a bath, get in the bed. But when you're living out of your car, you don't have that luxury. Again, my name is Robin Williams. I am the mayoral candidate for Houston, Texas. I do want your feedback on how you think I handle the scenario, or what would you have done differently if you're law enforcement, if you're a civilian. What are your thoughts on how it happened? Could police officers navigate and articulate a little bit better when it comes to reaching out to the DA involving um, cases and crimes, or should we strictly have civilians deal with individuals with mental health issues and homelessness?